Ed, Sam, where are we?
We're in the Madmen Barbershop's newest location in Bayshore, 140 West Main Street.
It is beautiful here. I'm somewhat familiar with the brand you've been building over the past, I don't know, however long. When did you guys start?
15 years.
15 years?
Yeah.
So I've been kind of watching on the sidelines. Me and you have never met. This is our first time meeting,
Yep.
but I feel like just through social media, you kind of build these connections. Sam and I went to a Christian concert back in the day, and what do? We went to homeless shelters and we're cutting hair. So our connection kind of goes back a little bit. But I think mostly, Ed, what I'm interested in is like you built this beautiful space. So aesthetically, you have an eye for these things. So you understand how to build things. Maybe you see trends, but like why barbering? Like why did you get into this business?
Well, basically, I'm not a barber. I was a custom tailor that made bespoke suits, all made to measure, handmade. I would take 30 measurements of your body and create a one-of-a-kind garment for you. And I was looking for a space to showcase that work. But I wanted it to be more of like a men's club. So when we opened the first location on Merrick Road, it was 5 barber chairs, hand-rolled cigars, and my custom tailoring, all in one space. So it was like collaborating with myself. And I built the store to reflect the custom tailoring. There's an elegance that you need to have in order to present customers with a $2,000-$3,000 suit. So at the time, I don't know if you remember, but most barbershops kind of had like a 90s, like they just put the chairs in a room and it had no aesthetic to it at all. So I had to build something that didn't exist yet in our region. And when I did, like the first day we had like 20 people waiting outside for haircuts. Oh. So over the next 4 years, we went from originally 5 chairs and 2 barbers to taking out my custom tailoring, and we went from 2 barbers to 10 barbers.
Wow.
So it was a big transition for the industry at that point. And like I didn't do it on purpose. Like I didn't want to make a beautiful barbershop. I was trying to make a beautiful men's club, someplace that they felt at home and then had an elevated aesthetic and wasn't the normal like routine.
What made you take the tailoring out? Was it the economics kind of working in favor of the barbering? Or?
Yeah, basically, you know, out of 100 people who are getting a haircut, maybe 1 or 2 will only need a custom suit. So I would minimize that and end up doing more appointment-based suits. But it wasn't like the main focus anymore. So I had to like, you know, we had a pool table in that location. We had to take that out. We had to accommodate the clients that were coming.
Got you. And how do you feel like, why was your business like blowing up the way it was?
Basically, it was like we gave the client an option that they didn't have before. It was a beautiful building, beautiful layout, and all the little details that we put into it really made a difference. Because at the time, most of the barbershops were kind of like how they were in the 70s and 80s, and nobody really put any effort into that. It was like, I'm the barber, and the most important thing is the haircut and my relationship with the client. But the client really responded to a more elegant environment. And that's pretty much how I see Madmen through the eyes of a client, because I don't know how to cut hair. So everything that I do is basically, what do people want? And I think that being able to step out of the barber shoes and into the client shoes really makes the difference.
So what do you feel like from your vantage point, which I do think is a very valuable, because there's often times where I can't get myself out of it to see what it actually looks like. What do you think the client is looking for?
I think they want to feel comfortable. I think that a lot of clients that we see aren't so invested in which barber they see. They're not invested in like a 20-year relationship with that barber. They want the convenience of getting a haircut when they want to, when they have time. They're very busy, successful people, and they kind of slide in at their own convenience. And I think that makes a big difference, because the other shops weren't structured that way. And now, like I know in Suffolk County, I see everything is mostly appointment. But if you come 10 miles where we are, in a circumference for where we are, there's no appointments. Everyone follows our model. So, you know, I definitely changed the market a lot in Long Island.
That's interesting.
That.
I think that resonates with us a lot because, I mean, our shop isn't, you know, an 8, 10, 12 man barbershop.
It's the exact opposite.
It's a two-man barbershop, and hey, we might not be the best at cutting hair, but our environment, our space, people love it. They'll go to Chris, they'll bounce back to me, they'll go back to Chris. And I don't care, as long as you're in here and you love the space, that's what I think people do really connect with, the feeling that you get walking into a place. Not this, no, this is my guy, I'm dedicated to him. They want to enjoy the space.
And you have to understand, every barbershop is sort of a reflection of the owner. And that reflection draws in that same type of client. So I was at the time married with 2 young children. I built this barbershop, and that's who was coming to the shop. The dad with his 2 boys. It became a community, family-oriented, with attitude. Obviously, we do have attitude, but we're not getting like more of like the street type of barbershop feel, which, I know that the hip hop culture drives most of the barbershop culture, but that's not for everybody. So I feel like we kind of hit a niche of community. And I think that's where we were able to grow the most.
That's amazing. I want to tie Sam into the story a little bit.
Sure.
I'm very curious, like I said, you're outsider looking in, you have this perspective on the industry that might be a little bit more business savvy than most barbers. I think a lot of barbers get into this industry. They're really good at the technical side of it and have no idea what it looks like to run a business, or were never taught or mentored to do so, which is why I feel like it is a long game, kind of figuring that part out as a barber, going out on your own and trying to figure out what it looks like, and the economics of barbering is like one thing that we always speak about. It's like, and people ask us a lot, like, how's the barbering industry? And I always say, like, if you want to get rich, it's not the best. There's a way to do it, but it's a labor of love. Most barbers that do it, they just love to do it. They love to serve their community. They love to connect with people and the relationships that it brings them. If I need a plumber, a lawyer, and an accountant, I can just hit up one of my customers. Yeah. So I think there's value in that, but there's no retirement. It's not really built for someone to be very successful. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you're building something for your barbers to be very successful, and do you feel comfortable in that?
Yeah, I think that, and Sam could speak to it as well. It takes years for a barber to cultivate a clientele base and to cultivate a busy day. And we've had barbers hit 30 people on their first day without anyone knowing who they are. And over time, that really snowballs into making much more money than anyone realizes. And I would say half of our barbers have homes, mortgages, they have credit, they have Mercedes, they have the life that, like you said, where you grow up, most people want to be finance. So it's attainable to them. Where at another barbershop where they might have to rent a chair or whatever, it's like they kind of have to spend 10 years for building from scratch. So with our shop, we kind of saw what the barbers needed and kind of gave them that support right off the bat.
So, I'm so interested in so many things here. One thing is, so commission model is what you guys run?
No.
It's a rental model?
No, we pay salary.
You do salary. Interesting.
Yeah.
So when a young barber comes to you, how are you finding these barbers? I think that's what I'm so interested in. How are you finding these
right
guys?
now we have the 3 shops. This would be the 3rd shop, and we have 23 chairs. So pretty much we have stopped really looking for barbers. Barbers come to us based on recommendations from the barbers that we have. And, there's a lot of people, every barber is talented, but but barbering is essentially 2 jobs in one. You have to be talented and do the haircuts every day, but then you have to find time to promote yourself and to get people in the door to begin with. So by the time 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock rolls around, you don't have the energy for that. But that's what my job is 100% of the day, 7 days a week. I don't take any days off. I'm available.
As the owner.
As the owner.
Yeah.
We have conversations at 1 o'clock at night about what's going on. It's a labor of love, like you said. And, we found a niche because I'm not a barber. I'm not maintaining 20 clients a day and let everyone else pay me booth rent. I'm not in it just to sublet my chairs. I would go out of business at that point. The amount of money that we put into the ads, the amount of money that we put into the decor, the math never mathed.
Yes.
Never calculated. And pretty much the commission, I did a lot of research because I'm not a barber. Everyone feels that commission is I know my worth. I'm worth 60-40. I'm putting my effort. but really the clients respectfully are not coming for you, because like you guys could work for me tomorrow and hit 25 and nobody would even know who you are. Like it's basically whoever would like to work there is going to be successful from day one. Of course, you could, in your shops, you might be able to make a killing on certain days more than them, but we provide a stability that's unfound in the industry.
I think the industry does lack that
Yeah,
stability,
definitely.
because there's weeks where we see it, we're like, wow, this is like, I feel like a lawyer, and then the next week I feel like I worked
You
at
got
the deli.
highs and you got lows.
You know,
Exactly.
so before we can, and I'm interested actually to pick your brain a little bit, kind of just authentically while we're sitting here. But what does this man mean to you and your business?
Well, Sam was actually, when we first started, I didn't know any barbers. The barber who cut my hair wouldn't come because he didn't believe in a new shop. And Sam was the first person who answered the interview and the first person to say yes, and he took a chance on Madmen. And we've been open for 15 years, and he's been with us 10 of those 15 years.
Wow.
Like, he did 5, and then 5 someplace else, and then he came back for another 5.
Amazing.
So, you know, he's grown to be like part of my family, really, you know.
That's amazing.
And he has a perspective of being in commission shops, being in rentals, and dealing with owners who do anything to compete with you, and they basically steal money from you. And and you could tell a little bit of that. Like, you know, there's a side of the industry that nobody wants to talk about, and it's not always nice.
Yeah, there is a competitive edge to a lot of what we do. And I guess same question for you, Sam. What does Madmen mean to you, and why have you stuck around so long?
Just the stability, really, like what Ed was saying, and consistency, a level of consistency. You know, a lot of barbers, they'll sell you, you guys just said it, 1 week they'll make this, the other week they'll make that, you know, holidays roll around, they'll make the most, you know, but with Madmen, you could definitely budget yourself. You know, if you want to go out and buy a house, if you want to go out and do certain things, you can find ways to do that. You know, your accountant can, you know, figure things out a lot easier than, you know, a lot of these shops that may pay you cash or whatever the case is. And nowadays cash is, you know, I was just in the mall the other day. You can't go anywhere and pay something with cash. It needs to be on debit or credit, anywhere in the mall, from a big, you know, name brand store to a little kiosk. You can't, so, you know, things like that. Yeah, and then just when I first met Ed, he was like, I had never seen anything like Madmen before. I was I was commissioned or booth rental. And I'll never forget the first day that we opened. I saw 20 people just from the first day. From the first day Ed opened up those doors, nobody knew what Madmen was. A lot of people thought it was like a restaurant. A lot of people thought it was like something completely different. I remember people were looking through the windows to see what was going on in here. They thought it was either like a bakery, a restaurant. They didn't know what it was, or a clothing store, you know, like a boutique store. But yeah, no, from the first day, I saw 20. And I couldn't believe that, because I had just came from a shop in Baldwin where I saw 8 an entire week. So, you know, and that's the reality of a lot of shops. You know, if you're a new guy, you'll get the scraps, you know, and yeah, and at Madmen, you're busy from day one.
And there's no competition with me. I'm not trying to get the first chair. I'm not trying to get the best clients. I'm not trying to get the clients who tip the most. It's really about like teamwork, and everyone enjoys. There's like a vibe in our shop that I think is void in today's industry. People have big, beautiful shops and are paying per square foot, but then tell everyone, no, you can't come in unless it's 1 o'clock. And like, that's kind of counterintuitive. We have a vibe. There's customers that see each other that, you know, haven't seen each other in 10 years. COVID changed a lot, and I don't think that the industry really realizes what they're doing. It's almost like they're becoming a recluse style industry, where it's like, oh no, I'm booked, but are you really booked? Because how many people we see, I know you're not booked. We find a way to take everybody until exactly at 7 o'clock. And you know, I'm proud to be able to have these clients come to me over the years, just because the industry is now saying to do 8 haircuts at $60 is enough. I'm not going to turn away 15 years of clients because somebody in California thinks that, or someone in Florida thinks that that's how it should be.
I think he watched one of our clips before we got here.
But really,
that's
I mean,
our model. And
I think no, but like there's shops that have utilized different systems, but my point is like I can't abandon my system because things have changed over the last 5 years. You know.
yeah, I'm just dropping shit in my pockets. I'm sorry, Mike, throwing you off a little bit. It's okay. Staying on track though. Do you feel like?
Hold on, I want to jump in real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
I wanted to ask you, do you think it changes the atmosphere with your barbers, how they're on salary and nobody's fighting for like, you know, there's a shop and people are fighting for clients and that's my guy and that's this. Like, does that end?
It happens sometimes, but it's not like an every minute experience.
Yes.
You know, I mean, like everyone is very well paid. You know, they want to see as many people as they can because really the incentive on the back end is the tips. And our price point is structured in a way to make sure that barber does get that tip, because we're at $30 and the industry is at 45 to 60. So people are giving like massive tips to the barbers. So like they do very well.
How did you? And you don't need to get into the weeds of it, but how did you come up with what the salary was? Like, how did you figure that this is what was going to?
In the beginning, and it's changed because, you know, obviously like everyone gets raises and you know, inflation. But in the beginning, I tried to guarantee guarantee what the legal with overtime and everything was, and then I balanced that with guaranteeing like 15 cuts at 50-50.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 12 cuts at 50-50. So basically, if he only saw 8 people in a whole week, now you know you're getting at least 12 cuts at 50-50 just by walking in the door. And, you know, it's up to me to make sure that I put clients in the chairs, which we do.
And if you could speak to a young barber watching this podcast, like, what is it about Google AdWords, SEO, or all of the above that barbers don't understand that maybe you kind of understand more?
It's not so much the technical side of that. They have to develop a point of view. They have to develop a point of view that is coherent to where their shop is. Like, this shop might not do well in California because it's a little too New York feel. Like, you know, I try to be, everything I do is from the 1920s. So it's like 1920s Manhattan. So like, I'm not going to do well here on the beach where everybody's laid back in sandals. So you kind of have to develop a point of view just like any restaurant would, and know who you're catering to and what your vibe is. And I think that's the most important thing. And then you could play with the SEOs after that. But if you're all over the place and the customer comes in, they might not know that they're confused, but subconsciously, like a stockbroker or a lawyer is not going to do well at a hip hop shop with spray paint on the wall. Like, they could be the best haircut they ever got in their life, but they're not going to feel comfortable there. And I think that that's something that people overlook all the time. And listen, I'm not a barber, and I've heard it for 15 years. I've actually heard it like 3 days ago too. But it's something that it's part of human nature. It has nothing to do with the barber industry. It's every industry. The customer has to feel comfortable in the environment.
Well, I think like you kind of been touched on it. I think we changed, like something shifted in the industry where it was like we worked for the clients, now the clients work for us.
Yes.
You know, and I think like do what you want, do it the way that you see fit. But at some point, like, we've lost this level of service.
Yeah.
So I do like the appointment model because it allows me to service like to the fullest of my ability. When someone's 10, 15 minutes late, which does happen naturally, they don't get a different attitude from me. They get the same pleasant, hey, I got the time for you. Are you ready? So I think that's why we kind of went in that direction, just because of understanding burnout, understanding what it feels like as a barber to work and do 25 haircuts at a day, because this is how I used to work coming up, that it was almost not sustainable. Especially on a rental model, you know, it was like, well, now what? What's next for me? You know, because I'm giving all my money to the other guy and I'm keeping some. So I don't know. I just think there's a lot of ways to do this. There's so many ways to do it.
And there's no real wrong way. Not to cut you off. There's no real wrong way of doing something. You know, I think if somebody wants to come work for Ed, get salary based. I had never even thought there was salary until I met Ed years ago, 15 years ago. And then doing appointments, I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. You know, you definitely focus more on the customer. You spend a lot more time on the customer. And I think certain customers that like that appreciate that a whole lot more too. And then there's that deeper connection that you guys have with the customer.
I I think
but
everybody's looking for something different.
there's a client for everybody.
Yeah.
And I always say this. And I think what's really cool that what you guys are doing is there's a lot of clients looking for what you guys are doing. Because there's only so many appointments available that you can get in and charge top dollar.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone, like a family, a dad with 2 boys comes to you specifically, that's 3 hours. No, it's not happening. You know what I mean? Like in reality, people have lives. And the way that I see it is you kind of have to, we're here in the service industry. We can't now then put like a velvet rope and be like, oh no, you have to, like, that's just my perspective. Like, oh no, I'm booked. I'm not doing anything right now, but I have somebody in 20 minutes coming in. Like, you know, a 11-year-old kid's cut could be that 10 minutes.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's like those videos that you see on Instagram where a customer will come in and say, hey, can I get a haircut? And no one's doing anything. They'll turn that customer away and say, well, you know, go on Booksy and, you know, make an appointment. Meanwhile, there's not one barber cutting hair, you know, that could have taken him.
I think that
And I also think that's wrong.
the industry is pushing that model onto the clients, and we're a reflection that the clients don't want that. Because we would be, if the clients wanted that specifically, we wouldn't be opening the 3rd shop. We wouldn't be having 23 barbers. We would be out of business because I refuse to do an appointment. I think that, like, we tried it with your friend Chris for like 1 week in 2013.
He made you.
and basically, like, you know, who's late? Then the barber wants to take extra time, and then all of a sudden you're like getting Yelp reviews because now you're 45 minutes late, and I didn't even want this appointment to begin with.
In the beginning, yeah.
You know, it's and also the price point. Like, I understand some barbers are charging $100, and for $100 you should have an appointment. But I'm at a community price.
Yes.
I want to have my shops open and available to the community for the next 30 years. So I'm not exaggerating. And again, the price is held specifically lower to take care of the barber on the back end with the tip. And, you know, it's worked out very well for us. So much that the industry in Long Island has copied us in a lot of different facets.
I can see that a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you find that because you're almost an outsider inside, do you feel like you feel that way? Or do you feel like this is you're a part of this community and you're welcomed here? And
I think that I purposely maintain an outsider position because in the beginning, everyone told me that I was going to fail, that I don't know anything about the business, that, you know, Madmen is like soft and, you know, like sellout type of feel. So, like, I'm like, okay, you keep doing you and I'm going to keep doing me, and we'll see what happens at the end.
I think you do a really good job at treading the line of edgy and almost mainstream in a sense, where you can sustain longevity in a community for 20, 30 years.
Yeah, the key is that we present ourselves as a vintage Prohibition era barbers with an edge in our ads. And then when you come in, we're just normal people, smiles, and it, like, we're not trying to be edgy in the shop, you know, because I think that alienates a lot of people and a lot of families.
Absolutely.
Ed's done a great job too at because I know he's about like the 3rd or 4th person I know that isn't a barber that opened up a barbershop, and he's the only one that's lasted for as long as he has. Any other person that I've met after like 3 years of not being able to really make a killing, they've just sold the barbershop to somebody else, or they've gotten rid of it. You know, because it's hard, especially the way he has studied the business and has really stayed 15 years, 3 shops, 4 if you want to include the one he had in DR. You know, it's the way he has studied it and just kind of really made it his own. Just me being me, I'm too lazy to think or just to put so much mind into a business that I don't even know anything about. So it is quite impressive to see how, you know, me just kind of watching him do what he does and, you know, pick out these chairs, you know, he has a great eye for things like that. And things.
I really enjoyed. I think the aesthetic is very important in my life. I would be twitching if it didn't look this way. So again, it's a reflection of you draw in the clients that appreciate the same things that you do.
Of course.
You know,
the details. What do you feel about the community that you just entered in? Do you feel like there's other barbershops here and there's ones that will probably pop up? How do you feel like those relationships can benefit you? Or
I think that this is a great town. We've gone to many of the restaurants and we've seen it's a very lively town. Our other shops are on main roads that are like, 2 lanes and high traffic and, 50, 45 miles an hour. And this is much more of like a close-knit community. We actually had a gentleman who knocked on the door this morning. That he saw that we were here, and he was like, "We're so excited for you to be here. That's exactly what the town needs." And like, he introduced himself. He works at a restaurant down the street, and nobody's ever done that in 15 years. So I feel like it's a much tighter-knit community here, and we look forward to being here.
So give me an example. I know you don't live here.
I moved, yes.
You moved. We'll keep that information private. But what is it that you do to stay involved in your community and also kind of living remotely?
Okay, so basically, during the COVID lockdown, we were shut down for 4 or 5 months, like every other barbershop. But we're like on Merrick Road and on Hillside Avenue. So we couldn't even do like haircuts in secret like a lot of people were doing. I'm sure our barbers cut their families and friends, but like we couldn't function at any point. So I had a decision to make. Am I going to pay rent? At the time, we had a shop in the Dominican Republic too. That was shut down. Am I going to pay rent in 3 locations over 5 months without making a dollar? And like basically essentially lose my house or like lose the businesses? Because no matter how much money you have, you can't sustain 5 months of rent times 3 shops without making money. And I decided to move upstate and have a little bit more. My attitude is, okay, you told me to stay home, so now I'm going to stay home. And I basically stay home and I work like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm available to everybody for any reason because I'm not here physically. And I've created a nice balance for myself because it is a lot to have this many barbers and to have this many clients interacting with us every day. We get like 165 phone calls a day, people asking questions and the standard questions, how much, and do you do kids, and I have a 1-year-old, and you have to, you talk about burnout, like that's extreme burnout, and I have a responsibility to now 23 families. Whatever I decide today is in effect how much money they make tomorrow, and that does create a strain and an anxiety and a defense mechanism. Like I defend Madmen and I defend my barbers more than any other owner because they mean something to me. And much more than a week rent that could be replaced by anybody. And, I did a lot of research. Like Sam said, I put a lot of effort in. I wanted to make sure that I was making the right decision, so I did a lot of research. And the owners over decades have presented to the barbers, commission, know your worth. Like you're putting your effort in and you should make commission to reflect that. But there's no responsibility on the owner. If it's a slow day, you're not making anything. It's basically he's paying you whatever happens that day. And I don't think that's right. So that's another reason why, like if you're going to spend the day in my shop, you're going to be compensated for it. And I'm not going to just like whatever happens attitude. Like I put too much planning into our shops to have that attitude.
So does each location have some type of management in it?
No, we have like teams.
Okay.
And then we give teams their goals, and we have a bonus structure also. So we try to foster a teamwork type of environment.
That's very cool. Well, I don't want to even, and I think this is funny when me and Mike do a podcast, like every time COVID comes, I want to bring COVID up during every fucking podcast. And I know it's ridiculous, but I actually watched you specifically during COVID almost like go crazy in a good way.
Yeah, so that's why I brought up
and
COVID.
I would love you to kind of go back into that.
Yeah.
Like, what did COVID do to you and your business, and do you think it did to the industry?
So basically, during COVID, the shutdown, I was nervous. I was nervous that, the industry would change, that they wouldn't let us do certain things, that I would be forced into appointments forever, the math didn't work out. Like we saw too many people to fit them into these appointments. So, at that point, I had to come to terms that like things might not be the same at all in the industry. And with my tailoring connections, a lot of the factories that manufactured fabrics and manufactured suits were shut down and repurposed by governments to produce the masks and like hazmat suits and things like that. So they're calling me and they're like, listen, we have 1 million masks in stock. but we sell suits. We don't have anybody to buy them. Do you know anybody to buy them? And nobody would touch anything. So I bought 100,000 of them, little by little, and I donated them all across Long Island, both Nassau and Suffolk, to try to get out of my house and to give back to the community. Because I felt like if the President of the United States and the Governor of New York and the Executive of Nassau County can't get these things, but I'm on WhatsApp in my house and I could get them in 3 days, like there's a big divide of like reality. So I wanted to make sure that I got the masks to whoever want them. Now I know after the donations, it became very political of like whether they worked, whether they didn't, whether it was like, encroaching on my civil liberties. But that's not the point of why I donated them. It was like, if you need them, I'll be at this corner at this time. We set it up with the local town governments to make it official because you can't, they could be able to shut you down during the emergency powers. So we set it up with the governments and we donated the 100,000 masks. So that's a big part of the community service that we're known for.
Yeah, and now you're running a salary model at this point to your barbers. So now you have barbers that you're paying and no one's working.
Well, no, correct? Everyone was like furloughed basically.
Okay.
At that point, yeah.
So there was a big pivot for your business during that time.
Like everybody was in chaos.
Yeah.
It wasn't just our industry; it was the whole country.
Correct. Yes.
But it took a toll on us, and I really tried to transition into, maybe the shops are not going to be there tomorrow. We really don't, like, even for an example, our lease was up at our Williston Park location during the shutdown. And we had to make a decision if we were going to sign again or leave. And like, you don't even know if we're going to be able to be open. Like, how am I going to sign again? And they didn't announce a date to be open yet. So we went from like 15 chairs there to 5. Like we cut the space in half as a reflection of COVID. So we took a step back, and it took us the last 5-6 years to step forward again here.
Well, I think even just to kind of like, to your credit, I think if COVID never happened, the industry wouldn't have raised the standard as much as it did, I don't think. And you guys would still be a high quality competition for everyone else around there at the price point you're at and what you guys do. But I do think it kind of maybe gave you guys more stake in the game by having everyone kind of get really expensive and you guys say, hey, we're going to do it this way.
Yeah, I think that you have to look at the pockets of any industry. And I didn't agree with it. And I said to myself, you don't want to be the next Blockbuster where you don't transition to digital and then you're out of business.
Yes.
But to myself, like I really stuck firm in my convictions as a client that like, I don't want a $60 haircut. Like, I've been doing this for 15 years, and I'm not paying $60. I don't even get a haircut most of the time at my barbershops. I go to other barbershops just to see what they're doing and see their flow. And, like, I never go to a $60 barbershop. So I couldn't see myself raising the prices to reflect that. And I don't want to alienate all those people that were loyal to me for 15 years.
Yeah.
From one day to the next.
So I guess where I get like curious and almost like push back on it and curious about it is, so I went, at one point in my career, I worked for this old man. He was an 86-year-old barber who worked wooden clogs and cut hair all day long at $10, $12 maybe. And I noticed that like when I started cutting hair, it was 2007 roughly. My father owns a hair salon in the industry, kind of understands what I was doing, but was like, you're not gonna make any money doing $12 haircuts, Chris. And I used to be like, hey, maybe he's right. I didn't know. I never would have guessed that I'd be charging what I charge and people giving me what they give me. It actually blows my mind most days. But I'm afraid maybe that like we don't pivot again. We become the only industry that can't raise their price. Salons are charging $90, $80, $100, whatever it is, and barbers are expected to be charged $20. Do you see that almost like, what do you see for the future of what you guys are doing? Like, there has to be a point where you do raise prices.
Yeah, I mean, after COVID, I stayed the same price for 5 years. When everybody else was like, I have to buy rubber gloves, my price went up $40.
Right.
Like, I don't believe in that.
I agree.
So, I'm purposely taking that position, and we got busier because of it. Now, I know that doesn't sit well with some people in the industry, but I don't have to run my business because you run your business that way.
Correct.
That's like a natural competition and people will go, it will all settle naturally. Like it doesn't, there's going to be people that want to see you. And don't forget, the level of service and communication and conversation that you might have with a customer, the next customer might be like, that guy talks too much.
Yeah.
So you never really know what's going to happen. And it just overall, just the cards lay on the table how they're going to lay, and things are going to happen. And I'm going to keep, I'm purposely proportionate. Like, we'll raise when we have to raise, because the barbers do, you know, cost of living goes up, everything goes up. But you don't go from when we opened at $16, or like you're saying, from now 12 to now 100.
Right.
You know, and then you walk in and, you know, it smells like pot, and you're not giving an environment that warrants the 100. I don't agree with that. Now, if there's barbers who could get away with that, that's fine.
Right.
I'm not telling you to change to me, but I know that we wouldn't have 23 barbers if it was an incorrect model.
I agree. I think the metrics, or whatever you want to call it, I can like have to dial in so perfectly for you to like really make that thing work. And that's why I think you're doing a great job at what you're attempting to do. And I don't think it's easy. And I think it's cool that you're able to kind of build this belief in your barbers that this is a great place for you to be. And yeah, it's expensive here on Long Island, but you can live a life for yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's
And
why
again,
we're so passionate about it.
You could be a great barber and a great artist, but that doesn't mean that you have the time or like the want to then at night go market yourself in your second job to make sure that tomorrow you have people. You know, you own your shop, I own my shop. We have that in us. But some people just want to go home and go to the baseball game. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that.
You know what I said before going to bed last night? I said out loud, my girlfriend's sleeping next to me, I said, "So Ed, what brings you to the barbershop business?" Like, I'm thinking about it all the time.
So this is very important. If you cannot shut it off, like I can't shut it off, then you have to become an owner, because you can't give somebody 24 hours a day, you know, for somebody else. But if you want to, like, I don't have like a need to have a big social life and to go party and to have like a nightlife. Like, I like quiet. I live on 80 acres on a farm. So for me, it's, you know, you can't compare. Like, everyone is so different to each other.
Yeah, you can. I think that's what's really cool about the industry, though, is you can really live whatever life you want.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and it's all going to take hard work. You know, it takes hard work to cut 20 heads a day. It takes hard work to learn how to only cut 8. You know, it's like all of these things take hard work and dedication.
As far as like the 8 and the appointments, like, I don't want to be that. Like, no offense to any barber, but I don't want to be with you for an hour and 15 minutes. Like, I really don't. Like, I like haircuts and I appreciate what you guys do. But like, I don't want to be anywhere stuck in a chair for that long. Even if you're giving me the best service, like, some people just don't want that.
Yep.
The mom with 3 boys doesn't want to hear the crying for 3 hours.
Nope.
You know, so it's like you have to fulfill the market that you're aiming for.
Right.
And when we opened where we were, there was like 2 or 3 barbershops. Now within a 5-minute drive from our main location on Merrick Road, there's over 15. And they all have antique cash registers, and they all wear aprons, and they all have some sort of like point of view of like the past and retro. So it's kind of like annoying to hear, well, you're doing it wrong because you're not a barber, but then, and your barbers are horrible, but then you're trying to steal my barbers and my look. So it got, like, over the 15 years, I've developed a little bit of like, Sam calls it a chip. Like, where basically like I enjoy a little confrontation and I enjoy being like the big bad wolf. Like, if that's what you think of me, fine. Like, I'm not here for you. I'm here for my family and for my barbers.
I feel the same way.
You know?
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you create a good steady. You build a model to create longevity for the barber. You know what I'm saying? You build a space for them, a model for them to stay there like a family, you know, and not, oh, what do you want to do? Oh, I eventually want to open up my own shop. Like, do you discuss that? Do you like that? Do you want them to listen? If you want to go do your own thing, yeah, go do it. Or it's like, no, I want to build this for you. I want to create something for you, and you stay here.
I would love everyone to stay. We just had a barber. His name is Elvis. He's been with us for 10 years straight. And, you know, he says, like, I'm never leaving. So, like, that's what makes it, like, that's what makes everything worth it. Because you want everyone to appreciate the work that goes into it, just like you want someone to appreciate the haircut. So I'm trying to build this environment and fill the shop with clients, and then you get somebody who's like, man, I don't want to be here, and it's like, what else do you want? You know what I mean? Like, like maybe barbering's not for you, but then you have Sam and you have Elvis and these guys that are staying 8 years and 10 years and 6 years, and it really does make the whole journey like much more worth it than if you're just dealing with 6-month stays.
And I left for 5 years. I left for 5 years. Went to go work with two of my very close friends, and we just closed up shop. Our lease had expired, and then it was just so much. Me and Ed have always had a great relationship, so it was just so much more easier for me to come back because I knew there was that stability, right? But then in those 5 years, you learn that sometimes, me, I love to shut it off. Ed is somebody that can't shut it off. I love to shut it off. I love to, like, at 7 o'clock, be able to leave. And I'm very similar to Ed, too. I'll go to another shop because I just love the barbershop culture. So me, I'll go to another shop in Elmont and get a haircut. Or sometimes I'll go into Queens, or sometimes I'll go up into the Bronx and just get a haircut and just be sitting in a barbershop, in a different barbershop, in barbershop environment, because I just love the culture. I love the culture of a city barbershop. I love what we've been able to build on Long Island. But yeah, I left for 5 years. You come back. I decided to come back. Lease had expired, and it was just so much more easier because I knew that there was that consistency, there was that stability. Me and Ed have always had a great relationship. Yeah, and it's just so easy. For me, at least, it's been very easy just working at Madmen, and it's been a great time. It's been a great flow of consistency, and level.
I think that, I know you mentioned that you're going to be teaching, and a lot of the podcasts you're going to be showing to the students as an owner perspective. And I think that it's very important for the students to incorporate math into their calculations and into their barbering, because barbers tend to take the busiest day that they've ever had and think that that's what they see every day. Mm-hmm. Even though that doesn't really reflect reality. Mm-hmm. It's like you get caught up in like, well, I made $800. Why would I ever take this position with you? But like, okay, that was 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. And they don't understand the fluctuations or how to budget through the fluctuations. So that's where, we step in and we provide the stability there. And, they all make very good money. And at some points, I would say that some barbers make more than I do. Mm.
That's interesting. I think that's what's kind of respawned my mission, at least. I can speak for myself and say that I'm going to be educating these young students, the same age that I was when I started, telling them there's a way, but knowing that there's a million different ways. And it's not just my way. Please don't just listen to me because I'm wrong. I'm only right for what I like to do, but there's a guy who does it like this, this, and this. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think we should be the guys that introduce those students to these people. Yeah. And not have a competition and not be like, oh, let's go to Madmen and talk to them about, because I'm on vacation and I walk into barbershops. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Just a guy from New York. I just want to shake your hand and look at your barbershop and, connect and make a brother out of it. I love that shit. And I've always loved it and I always will continue to. And I think that's what brought us here.
I think that I'm like a very fierce competitor, but it's only in reaction to when I feel somebody is encroached on our space. Like, I don't feel competing with you.
Oh, we're trying to poach your guys for sure.
But I don't appreciate if you're like you come 3 blocks away after bad mouthing us and then want to take 3 barbers. So I thought we were horrible. Why would you want our 3 barbers? Then you're gonna go out of business. Yeah. And I don't have any remorse about that at all.
Ed's like the Joker. Like behind the Joker, there's a story, right?
Yeah.
You always thought the Joker was the bad person.
I've had to put up with a lot of stuff over the years, and it's, I think you have to. You don't really know what goes on behind the scenes, and you don't want people to know. But you have to have a thick skin. It's something we spoke about last week. Sure. You have to have a thick skin because you could have a client that loves you one day, that hates you the next day. You could have a barber have a bad day and quit, and then you think it's the end of the world. And 2 weeks later, I'm sorry, can I come back? Like the clients never see any of this, and it adds to the stress level and the burnout level, that you.
Not to mention the personal things that one has to go through with the family. You went through what you went through a couple years back, and. We spoke right before, you going through what you went through with past relationships and things like that. All of that ties into, You know, you got to learn how to just bring it home and just keep going. Keep going. Yeah.
I think that's what I love about barbering. Honestly, is that I've been writing a book about barbering a little bit about not going viral, just about building relationships, being organic. And what I write in there is that barbering saved my life twice: when I was a kid and I was lost, and when I was an adult and I was lost. And it really continues to show up for me. And here I am now trying to give back to it because of how much it's given to me. So I think it's beautiful.
It's funny. That's awesome. And I tell people that barbering is, if you get that one customer that just hates his haircut, just does not like the experience he's going through with you at that moment. Life is like that, You just have to get through it. It's only a 15, 20-minute haircut. I've said this to a couple of barbers before because they're just like stressing in the moment. I was just like, it's just a quick moment though. Just remember it's a moment. It's a 15, 20-minute moment. Get that guy out of the chair as fast as you can. Go through whatever issues you got going through in life as fast as you can. But just continue to go through them.
And the hair grows back.
The hair will grow back.
The hair does grow back.
And I think that the industry on Instagram, and I have a big problem with this, it pretends that everyone's the master and nobody makes a mistake and everyone's happy and they're booked all the time. And if you look at the videos, if you really look at them like how I do, all I see is barbers speaking to other barbers and nobody speaking to the client. They're making videos about what, I have an RX 3000 clipper. No client cares about that. They're making videos like it's a surge industry. Like as soon as one person has rubber gloves, everybody has rubber gloves. As soon as somebody has a ring light, everybody has a ring light. As soon as they have the hexagon lights on the ceiling, everybody has hexagon, And they're making videos, they're making fun of the customers and making fun of how customers come in. Like, how do you expect to gain a customer if you're making fun of them openly?
It's like the only reason content is made is for barbers to impress other barbers.
Yes.
Well, I feel like there's a stage in every barber's career where you go, all right, am I trying to build myself in the industry and build recognition with other barbers and, maybe be sponsored by clipper companies or whatever the hell? Or do I want to build myself into the neighborhood? Do I want to? And it's funny, you have Hometown Hero written up there. I've always been saying that, where we almost named the podcast Hometown Hero.
Okay.
Because it's like, who cares about what the barbers are doing? And because I come up from an industry where I was following my mentor, and we'd go to a place and he'd be like, here, hold the camera, we're going to take a picture. And I'd be like, I'm just as good as all you motherfuckers. Why am I taking the picture of you guys? Like, this is ridiculous. And it kind of put a chip on my shoulder to kind of go, I'm just going to serve my community.
Yeah.
And I want to be known in my area by my clients.
And that's how we are.
Yeah.
I've never been to a barber battle, and I refuse to go. I've never been to a trade show, and I refuse to go. We started in 2012, and in 6 months, I had a full product line under our own name. I don't need to go to a trade show to buy somebody else's pomade. Like, if you really want to do it, you could do it. You don't have to go be a part of the industry. I respect the industry, but I kind of respect the heritage. I don't really prefer what's happening in the last 5 years. And being 45 years old, I think that nobody that's coming up into the barber game now is ready for when there is a recession, like a real recession, because right now they're just charging whatever they want to charge, and it might be coming easy, and because it's coming easy, they think it's them. But as soon as something happens and there's a little bit of another COVID or another big recession, and I don't want to use you as an example, but like the 8 to 10 haircut model will quickly become 3, and we'll still be seeing hundreds. And I think that that's another reason why I won't do an appointment. Because I want to be here for 30 years, and I don't want any problems, and I don't want any stress. And we keep sending back and forth. This restaurant in Long Island went out of business. That restaurant went out of business. And we're like busier than we've ever been. So I think it's a reflection of the industry changing and people not everyone's into it.
Well, I think there's a little. It's like we're.
Talk shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk shit. So I'm cutting hair all day. I want to set my appointments up so I know when I'm working, and then after that I can't shut it off. So I got to be able to work on something inside of that business. Like we are talking all night, after we close the lights in the shop, the lights turn back on. You know, so I think it's really creating something, a work schedule, and then after the work schedule, trying to create something else, whether it's the podcast, whether it's wedding business, whether it's, you know, something else inside of the business. I don't know where I was going with that.
I think that's what I was mentioning. Like, barbering is 2 jobs in one.
Yes.
And people don't realize it. And you guys like thrive off of that.
Yes.
But there's a lot of people that are not interested in it. There's a lot of people that can't.
Well, they just can't.
They
Don't know
can't
how to do their
it.
own content.
Yeah, they don't know how to do their own content.
Well, I always say that I always say Ed is a great. I don't care if it's. I've always said this. Ed, it didn't have to be a barbershop. It just so happened to be a barbershop that landed on his fortune. He could have opened up. I legitimately think Ed could have opened up any business, and it could have thrived because his marketing skills are just ridiculous. You know, he's always doing some sort of promotion. He's got a videographer on staff, and a lot of shops don't have any of that. You know, and he's got a photographer on staff. He's got a whole 9. He's got a whole team outside of just barbering. He's got a whole team. So it's like, wow, it's like, what other shop owner have I seen done something like that?
I'm willing to fail, and I'm willing to lose money to make sure that I succeed.
Where do you think you get that from? Where does that come from?
I think from not being a barber and feeling like I have to, because I'm not a barber, I have to show them that my model can work. Because there's been a lot of hate, and I think that a lot of barbers dislike us for many reasons. But it stems that, like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know what it feels like to stand behind the chair for 20 cuts, and I don't understand this, and I don't understand that. But at the end of the day, you're making your payments, right? You're paying your rent, you're paying your mortgage, you're paying your car, and you didn't have that before you came here. Like, I don't need to fight with you. Like, it's working out for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's agree to disagree.
Exactly.
It should be that way.
You know, and every restaurant runs differently. Every barbershop runs differently. Every business runs differently.
Yep.
A lot of barbers have had something to say about our advertisements and the way we advertise, and you shouldn't have to advertise. It's like, okay, so go tell that to Nike. Tell that to Mercedes. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, which one is it? On Instagram all day, you have to brand yourself and you have to promote yourself. But then when I do, then you have a problem with it. It's because you have a problem with yourself. You feel that, oh, I should be doing this and I can't, or I can't. You know what I mean? Not willing to.
Yes.
So again, like, whatever people's opinions are of us, if you don't like us, I like it that way.
Yeah, it's okay.
Because it drives me to the next level. You know, it's almost too easy if everybody likes you.
You're like the Jake Paul, like boxing and Jake Paul. You're like that. I hope you don't find that disrespectful. But
no, I mean,
in a respectful way.
Yeah,
like shaking it up.
Everybody wants you to fall.
Well, you need it too, because especially in this day and age, you know, you need to create some sort of content.
Yeah.
In order to continue to brand yourself.
Yeah.
Now, somebody like me, Ed is not a barber. I am so much of a barber that I just love barbershop culture, right? He won't be at the expo. I'll be at the expo coming up soon, by the way.
Yep. I ain't going to that shit.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You know, but it's you need the two.
I agree.
You know, a barber, like Ed is saying, when you go home, you have to create some sort of content to keep it going. Most guys don't know how to do that. Most guys.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
How you doing? Very good.
How we doing?
You good? You good?
I don't have any cash on me.
I don't got nothing on me right now, man. Sorry. No, good luck to you.
Good luck.
Sorry,
All right. Nah, I'm not the guy to talk to.
we're not open yet, though.
Good luck to you, my man.
Where are you gonna be? Like in a half an hour?
I gotta go back to my show.
Oh, I was gonna say I could meet you later, but
The ones who brought me right there, that deli.
the deli behind there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll meet you there in a half hour.
Yeah, but I don't be here. I'm gonna leave.
I'm sorry about that. I don't have any cash. Alrighty.
God bless.
And that's as most New York as it.
We are keeping it in.
And you might want to lock that.
Yeah. I am curious before we get going. I have interest on, you said you have a product. your product line. I'm familiar with your product. I've used it. I've smelt it. It works great. Smells great. It's definitely got your branding tied into it really well. So your goal with the product, is it for it to sell everywhere, but to sell through your businesses?
So I don't have interest in going like national with it. Would it be great? But like I don't have that passion for that like Chino's does.
Got you.
I like to play with the labels and design the labels for hours and hours and hours, and I like to talk about it with our clients, and I like to have our barbers use it on our clients. And we have a small Etsy shop that we started about 6 months ago.
Okay.
Just to kind of like see if people across the country like the product. But I have no ambition to try to put it in every store. I think that it's a little like I don't want to chase that dollar.
Every store meaning every other barbershop, or you have them in all your barbershops?
I have them all in our barbershop.
Okay.
It's
And
the Madmen label.
do you have conversations with your barbers where it's like, this is the quota, we're going to sell these products and you're going to sell X
We
amount?
try. I don't set quotas, but like they get commission on that too.
Okay.
And I know in the heat of the chaos of the moment, it's hard to stop and be like, hey, would you like to buy this pomade?
Right.
But we do sell a lot.
You do?
We sell a lot. It sells itself.
That's great.
A lot of people who move away, they come to visit relatives, they buy 6 at once. We get emails. Well, that's why we did the Etsy shop, because it'd be like, I came to you for years and now I moved to Florida. And like, you don't want to say no, but I don't want to live at I don't want to live in the post office.
Right.
Like I'm not.
But they
I
need
don't
the
wanna
whiskey
be a
wax.
shipper. Yes.
They need it.
I don't want to be a shipper. Yeah. We started the coffee line. I want people to bring home the barbershop. That's pretty much. I want my name in their kitchen. I want their name in their bathrooms.
That's very smart.
To take it home, but it's not, I'm not looking to have like, world domination of it.
Yeah.
Got you.
Boutique model.
You would love my book.
Okay.
I'll give you a copy. I'll sign it for you. But it is all about that. It's all about building in your community, building grassroots, and like it doesn't have to be for everybody. Whoever it's for, it's for. And for those who it's not, like it's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
But there's another spot for you.
But I have a respect for barbers. They work very hard. I think that the customers don't appreciate how hard a barber actually works. Because Sam or any of our barbers could be working all day long and just take a seat for 3 minutes, and that customer walking through the door has fresh eyes and thinks you've been sitting all day.
Oh, and then they'll say something to you too.
You have to present yourself to who your client base is. You can't expect everybody to love you, and you have to have that thick skin.
That's well said. I have one more lasting question before we get off, and Mike, you probably maybe have something to touch on. But what do you think, from both perspectives, how AI is going to affect this industry, and where do you feel like the future of barbering is going?
It's funny. My buddy just yesterday sent me a video of in China. I think it was there was already a robot cutting hair, but every haircut he sends me a video, and I'm going through all the slides, and every video was a buzz cut. So I think if, other than it being like a quick buzz cut, I really don't think it's going to affect us now. I don't really think that's something that barbers have to worry about at the moment. You see all like AI is taking over. A lot of my friends are accountants. A lot of them with the St. John's for finance. You see a lot of their jobs being stripped from them. Just doing, AI could really do that type of things nowadays. Could replace those type of jobs. There's a McDonald's in Texas, first McDonald's in the country, where there's nobody in it. It's a drive-through, and then so all of those jobs are now being replaced. When you walk into a fast food spot now, there's almost barely any people working. It's a quick touch. So I don't think for us, I don't really think it's, I don't think it's anything to worry about at the moment.
Is there any use that you found to implement AI as a barber?
Me at the moment, no.
Okay.
I haven't, yeah. I can't say I have. But somebody like Ray, one of the younger guys we have working for us, he is big into all of the new stuff, and he's got his Ray-Bans with I feel like a lot of barbers are doing that nowadays too. You can film content as you're cutting, and I do think that that's pretty cool. In terms of, but yeah, no,
Technology.
I don't really think it's that much of a.
I'm just glad clippers are cordless.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for blow dryers, but I'm glad clippers are cordless. What do you think?
They have, because I had one. I forgot the name brand that I had, but it did not push out. It didn't push out a lot of hot air. Hot air didn't push out that one.
I think we use AI only to edit some photos.
Okay.
And we don't. I'm sure people realize, like, I don't post any haircuts on our Instagram ever, not once. Like,
It's more brand.
It's more like, look at the shop busy, and look at the barbers working, and maybe in the middle of a haircut.
Culture.
But you have to realize that after 15 years, like, how many haircuts, how many low skin fades could you put on your page?
Well, it's not about the
You
it's
know?
not about the haircut. It's really not. And from your model, it's about the feel you get when you want to look at that Instagram and be like, yo,
Yeah.
this is a cool shot.
Yeah, I don't need to see the haircut.
I don't
There's
need to see
30
a
people
fucking
waiting.
haircut. Yeah.
They want it. I want it too. That's interesting enough.
But
Yeah.
we get so many hate messages, like, you guys are horrible, and that's why you don't put, that's
Yeah,
why you
can
don't
you read
post
some of
them.
your hate messages for us?
What's that?
Yeah,
we
read
could do
some.
that another time.
Yeah.
That's my book.
Okay. Oh, yours is going to be good.
But yeah, we use the AI for some lighting and photo editing, make it quicker on everybody.
Cool.
But other than that, I don't really see it. My model is to try to salvage the heritage and the vintage feel. So, like, I refuse to have a booking app. We don't even have a sign-in book, which we get a lot of one-star reviews for. Like, I want there to be a little communication of who's next. Not like, oh, well, my name is written number 3, and
It's funny. I remember being a barber, being like first 2 chairs where it's like it is your job to be like, oh, who are you gonna? Oh, you got
Yeah.
10 minutes. Like that's like the job. It's the culture of the shop to be greeted.
Yeah.
And to be like, oh, just give us some time. This is a part of what we do.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that I'm trying to present that to the world, and
Cool.
the industry can move on, and it has moved on in the last 5 years. It can continue to do so, and I'm going to stay with our model, and regardless of what happens, and just keep at it. Like, I think if we're ever to a point where we have to take appointments, is when it's time for me to stop. Because there's too many variables, there's too many people. There's too many people that are, oh, hey, do you have time for my beard? Oh, can you get my son too? And like, we don't have time to stop a whole system. And once you put it into the app, it's a Yelp review if you don't follow through on it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be tied to anything.
It's smart.
I think it's very hard when you have that type of model, walk-ins only. It's very hard to go to appointments.
Yeah.
Because
it's
the people that you're catering to, it's that. Do you have time for my beard? Can you get my son in? It's like it's very
changes the
hard.
whole-
It's
yeah,
very
go ahead.
hard, and it's like people will walk in our shop. We won't turn them away, but sometimes we don't. We're busy. They know the deal. They understand. What we usually do is we book appointments here, and boom, we get them on there. They scan the QR code, and they're in. They're in our system for appointments.
And I think that's a good point. Like, you can't be everything to everybody.
Absolutely.
You have to decide what model you want to be in and keep it that. You can't be a booth rent for 5 barbers and commission for 5 barbers. You can't be appointments and walk-ins. You're just inviting problems.
Yep.
You have to like treat everyone the same way and have a routine. And I think that with the routine, after 15 years, it becomes like, like you say, a well-oiled machine. Like, I'm to the point where I could say, okay, this Saturday we're going to see this many people. The first person's going to be there at 8:30. We open at 9, and there's 6 people outside at 8:30. And I know exactly how many people we're going to see for the day. Remember? Like,
No, that's true. Yeah,
like,
by 12,
yeah,
be
like-
at this number.
like-
But how is that happening? Like what is it?
It's just following. Like, I have every single haircut that we've done recorded since 2012.
What do you mean?
Like in the book where the barbers write what they did for the day.
Okay.
So it's we know what to expect, and I don't leave anything to chance. Like, when I know it's going to be a busy day, everyone knows about it for 2 weeks. Listen, Thanksgiving Eve is coming. Like, we have meetings about it. Everyone is ready for like the massive flow because. I'm asking this like a genuine question. For Thanksgiving Eve, do you now have a double booking for the day, or
How do you mean?
keep it firm to the 10 people that you want to see?
We opened up our schedule.
We opened up our hours. We'll come in a little earlier. We'll stay a little later.
Okay.
We'll
Days
extend our
around it.
schedule.
Because I don't know what the appointment shops do, but for Thanksgiving Eve, it's like, a long time ago, the 2018, we had the shop in the Dominican Republic with 8 barbers. We had the shop in Merrick Road with, at the time, 12 barbers. We had the shop in Williston Park with about 10 barbers. And in Thanksgiving Eve, we almost hit 1,000 haircuts in one day. So like, it's a reflection of most barbers saying we're too busy. So the customer just comes to us, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That, you know, you're okay with that, and I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with either. It's like a yin and a yang kind of
Totally
symbiotic
understand.
relationship.
Absolutely.
You know?
In our industry, there's all those different types of model, and a customer gets to decide what, you know. It's like my boy Rennie, he's in a basement of a law office. He's strictly appointments. And me, to this day, close to 20 years of cutting hair, I've never seen anybody as booked as he is. But he grinds. Like, he's in there at 7, and he doesn't leave till like 7, 8 o'clock at night, strictly on appointments. I've never seen anybody as busy
In a
as
notebook.
he. In a notebook. And you can't find him. You can't find him unless you know he's in Levittown downstairs in that lawyer's basement, because there's a big law office, and he's in the basement. He is in what we define a speakeasy. You walk in there, and you're in a bunch of offices. You walk into a barbershop, open the door, and there he is. Yeah, no, definitely check him out. Shout out to Ronnie and Dex. So yeah, those guys, but they'll tell you, it took them a long time to get to where he is. Took him a long. They've been cutting hair for 20, 30 years, and it took them a long time to get there. And going back to Ed's point, as soon as you walk into Madmen, he's giving you 20, 30 customers right off the rip. So, it's really, no model is wrong, like I said.
No, that's what's cool about it. That's why we wanted to kind of come and connect with you guys, see how you guys do it, and just kind of take some things, learn
I think
from
that
things.
people see us, barbers see us as like a supercuts, or as like some sports cuts chain type of thing. And it's really not that at all. Like, we're like a hybrid in between. Like, we present ourselves as professionals to the clients, but we're regular people. Like, we're not like, the supercuts where it's, they have this stereotype about like a national chain where like everyone just starting out there. Like, we have barbers that have been barbers for 25 years. How old is Joaquin?
Oh, he's like 55.
Yeah, so he's been a barber for like 40 years.
Interesting.
And he will not leave.
Do you guys find that you get a lot of young up-and-coming guys, or is it guys that have steady clientele or have been doing it for a while? What do you feel?
No, young. Ray's only been cutting hair for 3 years.
Yeah, he's like 21.
Like 2, 3 years. Yeah, Jason's only been cutting hair for, I think, a year. We actually have a lot of young guys.
Well, the industry's definitely blowing up right now. I think the young guys are interested.
There's a lot of talented people. You need to focus where you focus your talents.
Sure. So leaving this pod, what are your guys' advice for up-and-coming barbers? Like, what piece of advice would you give them?
After you've been comfortable cutting hair to a point where you're not going to mess somebody up, you have to develop a point of view of where you want to go. Because you need to present that to the world. A point of view, where like ours is vintage.
Sure.
If you don't have that, then you're just holding a scissor. And I think a lot of people don't realize that.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
What do you?
Yeah, that's good. Study all the models of being a barber, from appointment to salary based, walking, and study every model, and whichever model fits you best, go for it. Go all in. Go all in, and even if it's like what you guys are doing, cutting hair and then a pod, and then doing other creative things. That's if that's your model, do it. Go all in, because I think it's dope. And what's so cool about our industry again is that there's room for all of that. So I think that's man. Find out what fits you and just go all in with it.
That's dope.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think?
What do I think as far as what?
Your question that you just asked.
As far as like advice to a young barber, I think I struggle with this because like Mike and I, he was my apprentice at one point, and I tried to give him as much as I knew without trying to make him try to be like me, because I knew that there was flaws in the way I was seeing things. So it was almost like I like your advice a lot. I like both of your guys' advice. It's like, look at everything. When I started cutting hair, I watched every barber around me to take a piece from everyone, not just the one guy. It was from everybody. I come from a jaded perspective of like overworking myself and not getting paid enough, so that now that I finally created a lifestyle that I want, I like this version of it, you know, and it's a long game. It's like, all right, figure out how many clients you want, figure out what your price needs to be and how often you need to work, and just do it. Market to those 100 people, and don't worry about the 1,000 that think you're trash. And so that's my model. That's the thing I love the most. Like, this guy's out in the Hamptons doing $90 haircuts. He's not doing a razor or a hot towel finish. It's like a 25-minute haircut, but it's $95. So like, there's something for everybody.
Yeah,
Find
that's
what
what
you
it is.
like and what works for you, and just go at it and go for it. I think what is to be paid attention to, though, is that the industry has changed from fades to scissor cuts. I think that's a huge change in where we've happened through COVID too. So it's like, learn how to do long hair, separate yourself from the barbers that don't know how to do it, because that's our bread and butter.
And refuse.
And refuse, yep. But that's our bread and butter. It's the guys that are looking for salons but don't want to go to a salon, and are looking for barbers that cut long hair and don't know how to do it. We're like the perfect guys for that.
Yeah.
So like that's where we kind of sit.
That's
And I love that advantage of the industry, because those guys are coming once every 2 months, and they will pay $80, and they'll be like, they love it.
Yeah.
And they love that they took an hour away from their wife, and they met a guy that was in Mike's chair that they maybe could network with. So like, that's like what I love to do, but find what you love and just do that.
This industry really exposes how different everybody is.
It does.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like all different types of hair. One comes in straight, one comes in curly,
Yep.
of course. And that's kind of like the attitudes of everyone.
I also have to say, in closing, that I would, from my experience as a client, watching clients, being in other barbershops, it's very intimidating for a client to walk into any barbershop. And there's like this cloud of fog of pressure, and you're nervous to explain what you want, and you're nervous to say the wrong thing to the barber. You're nervous for your hair to come out bad. And I think that for your students, they should try to be able to find their way of easing that, because that's part of making the customer comfortable. And we do this every single day, and it's second nature to us. But to them, it's like, where am I walking into? So you walk into a room and nobody's saying hello. You walk into a room and nobody's like looking at you, and you're just sitting down, and like, you know, it's very discomforting. And I think that's part of the reason why we succeed, because you walk in and it's like, oh, you know, you feel at home. Like, I use furniture from like home decor. Like, I refuse to buy industry furniture. You know.
I like how you said, when we said I love your chairs, you were like, like you found a way to get them that probably most barbers wouldn't figure out how to get them.
Yeah.
So I think that's
I've
cool.
I've been to the Orient like a few times. That's where everything is made anyway. You know, there's only a few chairs that are like $8,000 that are still made in the United States. So, you know,
Or in Japan.
Yeah. So, you know, I've made a lot of connections there, and I was able to get connected to the factory that all the stores here use.
That's amazing.
And you provide a couple pictures and provide a sketch, and they make everything from scratch for you.
So cool. I love it. I'm really excited to see you guys develop an appointment-based system, and I'm going to come in. No, I love what you guys do. I really do think it's cool, and I can come here and get a haircut. Honestly, I feel comfortable here. I love what you did as far as the aesthetic, everything, the paint color. It's really cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
The Journeyman, out.